Abby is the boss at Goldsland Dairy Farm, but the rules she works to come from two masters, the EU and the Welsh Government. With Brexit, those EU rules will no longer apply, and although she voted to remain, Abby's positive about a new UK-only approach.
Right, well, it's all change. There's no point getting down in the mouth about it, and some of it is quite exciting.
But the question of where EU powers related to devolved issues will go is not settled. The devolved administrations want full control of decisions like how animals should be tagged. But the government says those powers need, in the first instance, to be retained by Westminster. For Abby, that makes sense.
Right, well, obviously, agriculture is completely devolved in Wales, but at the same time, we don't have these tangible barriers between England or Scotland or Ireland, and we need to remain as one trading bloc. So there has to be this overarching policy that comes out of Westminster that allows us all this commonality. Otherwise, we'd find it very difficult to just do basic trade within our own country.
But while the Welsh and Scottish governments accept the need for a coordinated UK approach, they say the EU withdrawal bill severely undermines devolution and demand it be changed.
What the bill says is that powers that would come from Brussels to Wales will be hijacked and taken straight to Whitehall for an indefinite period. Now, clearly we can't support that.
A refusal to endorse the bill wouldn't be legally binding, but the First Minister warns ignoring devolved administrations would have serious implications.
If we withhold consent and they override that consent, well, that creates a crisis in terms of the fabric of the UK. We've had two referendums here in Wales where the Welsh people have decided that they want to have an assembly, and secondly, that it should have substantial powers and lawmaking powers. Those referendums are as valid as the Brexit referendum.
But ministers say that concern is misplaced.
The UK government position is that the powers being brought from Brussels back to Westminster by the EU withdrawal bill were not powers that the Scottish Parliament or indeed the Welsh Assembly had in the first place. Instead, they say that down the line what will happen is that these devolved administrations will have more powers.
Overall, the Welsh Conservatives in the Assembly here in Cardiff back that position, but even they acknowledge that some tweaks might be needed to the bill.
There is a concern, a debate to be had about how long these powers will be held in Westminster, but to take the position that Nicola Sturgeon and Carwyn Jones have taken, which is outright opposition, really is a farcical position to take, because when you think of all these powers at the moment, they're held in Brussels anyway. They're managed by a bureaucracy that isn't elected by anyone.
More pressure for bill changes could come from the new crop of Scottish Conservative MPs. One told Sky News they felt concerns over its devolution impact were not unfounded.
I want to know if the Scottish Conservatives are truly Scottish Conservatives standing up for Scotland, or are they just lobby fodder for Theresa May's disastrous hard Brexit?
But while the politicians argue, Abby needs to start planning for the years ahead.
We're relying on them to start talking to one another and agreeing, because we don't have a lot of time here. So this process just needs to get going.
Because you need clarity.
Yeah, I need clarity. I'm operating a business here.
But a delay is precisely what's happening, while the government considers whether it's prepared to swallow any of the proposed devolution amendments to its Brexit plans. Tom Rayner, Sky News, Cardiff.